Boosie going to jail. Oh, God.
A lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with and, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over with.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Well, Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years, probably.
3 years.
Boosie has been grappling with his own struggles for years, but now it seems like the walls are finally closing in. Federal authorities are coming down hard, and his latest federal gun case has turned his world upside down. Rumors started circulating that he could be facing a decade behind bars. And as soon as that news hit, who emerged from the shadows? None other than Charleston White, one of hip-hop's most notorious trolls. The moment Boosie's case made headlines, Charleston was online, celebrating like it was a holiday.
Boosie going to jail. Oh, God. Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street ain't got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. He going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking. Boosie going to jail.
Charleston was grinning, tossing out jokes, and even boasting that he had been anticipating this moment for a long time. He openly admitted he never cared whether Boosie came out of the system or not, cold, ruthless. But that's classic Charleston. He thrives on drama, and this was his ultimate stage. But here's the twist. Boosie had already informed his followers earlier this year that he was exhausted from battling the system and was prepared to accept a plea deal.
Or the feds picked it up.
Now, it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor. And the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
He said he was putting his faith in God, but it was clear the case was taking a heavy toll on him. Keep in mind, this very gun charge had already been dismissed once back in 2023. At the time, everyone assumed Boosie was finally free to focus on his music, his family, and staying out of trouble. But by 2024, the feds circled back, revived the same charge, and indicted him again. The pressure proved overwhelming, and Boosie admitted he was done wasting energy in court. On X, he wrote that he believed God doesn't make mistakes and that he was ready to face his destiny. It wasn't just another update. You could feel the fatigue and resignation in every line.
He brought you up because you were attacking Kanye because of the...
Nah, this Kanye West shit just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. You can't take no risk of losing this shit behind,
Fans who've been following Boosie since his Baton Rouge days know he's always lived life on the edge, court battles, street rivalries, even health scares. He's dodged plenty of bullets, both literal and legal. But this one felt heavier. Facing a potential 10-year sentence hit him like a freight train. The Boosie we saw online, once fiery and quick to clap back at trolls, seemed different, drained, almost defeated, like the fight had left him physically and emotionally spent. While supporters flooded his mentions with prayers and encouragement, Charleston White was online celebrating like he'd hit the jackpot. Going live with a wide grin, he boasted that he'd predicted this moment for years and couldn't wait to revel in Boosie's misfortune. Then, taking it even further, Charleston shockingly stated that he hoped Boosie never returned home, a brutal line even for him. But chaos is Charleston's brand, and it's exactly what keeps people talking.
I ain't really got no opinion on him, because, my opinion can send me to prison. So I ain't really, I ain't really got no opinion on him, once you go to threaten people's kids, talking about you gotta lie. So, I ain't the one gonna do all that. I ain't gonna do all that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, hey, certain people, you can't really express opinions on it, and he one of those. You can't express how you feel because you might end up in prison. Yeah. I ain't getting tricked off the shit.
What makes this whole mess even wilder is that Charleston's feud with Boosie didn't appear overnight. It's been simmering for years, with Charleston always lurking, waiting for Boosie to make a misstep. The tension dates back to late 2022 when Kanye West caused a cultural storm with that controversial White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie spoke out immediately, saying it was disrespectful to black people, and many agreed with him. But Charleston flipped the narrative. He went online, attacking Boosie for even commenting on Kanye, and that ignited the war. Charleston didn't stop at calling out Boosie. He went further, dragging Boosie's son Tootie Raw and even T's son King Harris into the drama. He insulted their appearances, mocked their fighting abilities, and even predicted both would end up behind bars one day. That's when people realized Charleston wasn't just another loud influencer chasing clout. He had no problem going below the belt, targeting family to strike the deepest blows.
Oh, just them white folk, Boosie, you done got too much. You done let these niggas play you too mother. This internet book dumb and bitch. Say what little Tootie gonna do now? What little to the state? Listen, Vlad TV. Vlad post everybody going to jail but Boosie. Somebody tag Vlad TV.
The streets were buzzing, expecting Boosie to react like he normally would. But to everyone's surprise, he stayed calm. Rather than lashing out online, Boosie took a measured approach. In an interview with Tony the Closer, he explained that speaking recklessly could land him in serious trouble, especially when family members and children were being pulled into the conflict.
I'm gonna put your in jail, nigga. Waiting for the FBI to send me the right collar number, cause I'm finna make a report on your mother to the people. And you make the man call your name specifically. The promoter specifically says your mother ain't Lil Boosie. He implemented you and implicated you. Finna go to jail, back to jail. You gonna be on your knees, but them knees gonna be bleeding again.
Boosie stayed composed, refusing to let Charleston provoke him into saying or doing anything rash. This revealed a different side of him. Not fearful, just careful. He understood Charleston's goal was to get a reaction, but he wouldn't give him that satisfaction. Still, the tension was palpable to anyone watching. By early 2023, the conflict intensified. Charleston had already been mocking T heavy over his so-called paperwork party, and that's when Boosie's son, Tootie, stepped in. Tootie fired back, calling Charleston old and messy, even telling him to go die.
I feel, I trust in God, man. This crazy.
True to form, Charleston didn't just shrug off the insult. He escalated the situation, going live to say, "I hope your dad dies from that diabetes. I hope they forget his insulin 1 month." Who even says something like that? This went way beyond trolling. It was pure malice aimed at Boosie through his own child. Things took an even darker turn when Tootie was arrested later that same month on a gun charge. The moment the news broke, Charleston was online taking credit, boasting about calling the authorities, sending photos, and tipping off the Department of Public Safety.
Not a street kid. I'm not a criminal. I'm a kid who was raised to tell the truth. When my mama come in and say, "Son, what happened?" "Mama, I didn't do that." I got to pay for a lawyer. I got 2 lawyers, Carl Mallory and Louis Stearns. Louis Stearns became Judge Stearns, Judge Louis Stearns. But nigga, I had 2 paid for lawyers. My mama is a well-to-do mama. I'm just playing, I ain't playing. I'm an adolescent going through an adolescent stage of rebelliousness. I ain't no street. Hell yeah, I'm gonna tell on you. I've been telling since I was a little bitty boy.
Charleston went even further, claiming that Boosie was a 6-time killer who used children to do his dirty work. Wild allegations with no evidence. But he said it loudly enough for it to stick. That's when their conflict shifted from online insults to real-world consequences. Charleston wasn't just trash-talking. He was actively trying to ruin Boosie's life and target his sons as well. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, 2023 hit Boosie with another blow. Less than 3 months after Charleston dragged his son, Boosie was arrested in San Diego immediately following a court appearance.
He pulled the hammer back on the gun.
Things are spiraling for Boosie, and it seems like the walls are finally closing in. The feds are coming down hard, and his latest federal gun case has completely upended his world. Rumors suggest he could be facing a decade behind bars. Just as that news hit, Charleston White, one of hip-hop's most notorious trolls, emerged, grinning like it was a victory parade. He was smirking, cracking jokes and boasting about how he'd been waiting for this moment, openly admitting he never cared whether Boosie got out or not. But here's the twist. Boosie had already told fans earlier in the year that he was drained from fighting and ready to accept a plea deal. He publicly shared that he was trusting God, yet the strain of the case was obvious. Remember, this same gun charge had already been dismissed once back in 2023. People assumed Boosie could finally focus on music, family, and staying out of trouble. But by 2024, the feds brought the charge back, and Boosie, worn down, admitted he was done battling in court. His posts on X reflected exhaustion, a man finally ready to accept whatever came next. Fans who have followed him since his Baton Rouge days know Boosie has always lived on the edge, dodging legal trouble, street beefs, and health scares alike. But this potential 10-year sentence hit differently. The fiery, combative Boosie seen online vanished, replaced by someone drained and almost defeated. Fans flooded his mentions with support and prayers, while Charleston White celebrated publicly, treating Boosie's misfortune like a personal triumph. Charleston even went further, stating he hoped Boosie never made it home, venomous words aimed directly at Boosie through his own son. His history of targeting Boosie's family, including Tootie and King Harris, made it clear that this wasn't mere trolling. Charleston has been holding a grudge since 2022, escalating every opportunity to embarrass and attack Boosie, from mocking Tootie's arrest to tipping off authorities. Of course, not everyone sided with Charleston. Some believe Boosie brought this on himself after years of risky behavior and reckless online actions. Others see him as a survivor, a man tested by life's harshest challenges, with Charleston acting purely as a hater intent on tearing him down. With the possibility of a decade behind bars looming, Charleston is ready to treat it like a victory parade, live streaming and celebrating across platforms. He thrives on the chaos, and Boosie, while leaning on faith, looks exhausted, bracing for the worst amid federal pressure, social media scrutiny, and Charleston's relentless attacks. This saga isn't just about prison time, it's a test of legacy, survival, and who gets to dominate the narrative. Charleston White has made it his mission to publicly humiliate Boosie at every turn. Yet if Boosie serves time and returns stronger, Charleston's celebrations could backfire. For now, the plea deal hangs in the balance, the streets are buzzing, and the public is watching every move. This story isn't just headlines. It's a reckoning, revealing loyalty, exposing fake friends, and showing who truly roots for another's downfall. The spotlight has never been hotter, and the culture is about to feel the impact for years. The real question, will Boosie rise again, or will Charleston White claim the final laugh? The answer is coming, and the world is watching closely.